And away we go. Welcome back to Game Time, everybody. I'm your humble host, Kyle, and we're going to be taking a look at something very familiar for this channel, yet something a little bit different at the same time. Another Atari Flashback, but this time they're a little bit different. This is part of the Blast series, as you can see there on the box there. And I was kind of underwhelmed when they announced these. I know kind of looking around on YouTube and other YouTubers reviewing some of these is pretty underwhelming. They're not a big fan of these, nor do they really appeal to me a whole lot. It is from At Games, of course, like I said, right there on the bottom of the box. But this is the only one I'll probably end up getting because I do like some Atari paddle games, and these actually do come with paddles. And I can say right off the bat, the paddle quality is actually really good on those. That's about the only good thing. It has 20 built-in games, although that's a little misleading because one of the things is Video Olympics, and it shows right there on the box right here. The actual Atari cart back in the day came with a lot of those built into that one cart. A lot of these you see right there on the list are Video Olympics. That should be one game, but they're advertising it as 9 different games, so a little misleading. Otherwise, for those of you who can't see, the lighting's a little bit weird. My apologies. Blackgammon, Blackjack, Breakout, Canyon Bomber, Circus Atari, Demons to Diamonds, Night Driver. Gonna look forward to playing that one. Steeplechase, Street Racer, Stunt Cycle, Super Breakout. A bunch of those Video Olympics, including just normal Pong in there. That should be fun. And finally, Warlords, which is a fantastic game for the Atari and a must-play, I think. So, only available at Walmart. These things are about $20, and honestly, not worth the price for some of these. I've been a big, I shouldn't say big fan, but I've done some stuff with their Atari Flashbacks, and I generally like those. I think their Sega Genesis plug-and-plays were kind of not very good. They're okay, but just not great. And as you can see here, you get even more. You got Activision Flashbacks, several Atari Flashbacks, Legends Flashback, and Bandai Namco Flashback. That one only has 8 games, so I don't know why they don't load up a few more games with some of these, but let's take a look at the thing itself. It is very small, and the catch this time is this. It plugs into the HDMI port on your TV. But if that was it, that'd be alright. But you also have to plug this in. And it does come with a very mini, or I guess in this case, micro charger. It is not very big at all. I mean, there it is. That's the whole thing right there. So you plug that in there. And if your TV has a USB port, you plug that in. It's not very big. So if you have a big-ass TV, there's a problem right there. You can use a normal wall charger, wall charger here, as I do, but then this is it plugged into the TV. Where's this going to go? So I don't think they're great. I don't think they're very well designed that way. If it was just this, and say you could charge this up and actually play with this just plugged in for like 3, 4, 5 hours, that'd be okay. But keeping this constantly plugged in, I don't like that. It's not a very good design idea, and I don't think these Blast products are actually going to do very well. That being said, the paddle controllers are joined. They're not separate. The main paddle controller has start, select, menu, and on-off switch on the side. A rewind function, which, okay, I don't really use that a whole lot. But there's the main button on the side. Like I said, the panels super light. They almost feel very cheap. But I like the traction of them. Like, this actually works really well. I tested this out prior to me filming this video here, and I can honestly say these games work very well on this. So that's about the only major compliment I can give this, unfortunately. But the main thing is it does take 2 AAA batteries. The good thing here is it only takes 2 for the 2 paddles. Not each paddle needs the 2 AAA batteries, so that's something that is a positive. So what we're going to do on this video is I'm going to put some batteries in here. We're going to plug this into the TV. Unfortunately, the TV I'm going to be using for this particular video does not have the USB, so I'm going to have to somehow fandangle a way to plug this very short thing in. So give me a moment to figure it out. We're going to take a look at a couple games in action on this thing. Okay, and after the semi-hassle about plugging this in, I had to kind of get an extension cord to plug that thing itself in, so make sure if you do have a HDMI TV, USB ports are actually pretty close by your HDMI ports. Here's a list of the games itself, as we said, Pong, VO, I believe it's Video Olympics. We can go down here to Blackgammon, Blackjack. I kind of listed all those at the start of the video, so I won't go take a look, but the menu there. And we hit the, now this is kind of weird, I have to hit the start button to move columns. That's kind of weird. And select to move back. No, see, select says something else, even though it's on the far right here. Menu, and I don't even know quite what everything is here. We're going to start with Warlords, because that should be a fun one. A little bit of a loading here. Let's just show you what I'm, again, working with. I got the paddles here, those buttons. Yeah, you gotta familiarize yourself with which one is which. But otherwise, as I said, the knob for the paddle controller is actually really well. They did, one thing that they did do good with these are the paddle controllers themselves. I'm going to hit select so I can play against 4 others. I can't hit the normal button. Let's see, hit the start button. And again, I'm not quite familiar with where those are located on back of the paddle, but I am the yellow one. Warning, if you do have some seizures, not a good opportunity to watch the video. I'm the yellow one in the upper left. Green is already taken out. This is kind of like, to some extent, a little bit of a breakout game. You have the little ball there that you're trying to launch at your opponent's castles. You can catch it and fling it right back at them. Of course, last castle standing wins. You're trying to protect your little thing there in the far corners. I'm not doing very good, but it is a fun game. So when I want to pause, I can, well, see, that's not the button to pause it. That's select. You can choose a lot of things. There's menu. Very confusing. Okay, quit is select, by the way. So let's go back. We'll do, let's do the normal Pong here. Kind of show off what that looks like. Now here's the other thing I noticed. So all the main buttons that you need are sort of on this player 1 paddle controller. But for something like Pong, if I want to do just one player, because it is just me, I can't use that. I have to go do the second player controller in order to use my character on screen. So, and the second player controller does not have the extra buttons on top. So, not a big fan of that. Let's select everything we need on the player 1 controller. Hit start. Quickly switch to the player 2 side so we can play some Pong here. This is one where the paddles themselves definitely shine because they are pretty responsive. The paddles, my normal paddles I have for the actual Atari themselves, get a little shaky, so they always kind of look kind of like that. So I'm glad to kind of finally be able to play Pong with a steady paddle. So I do like that. Now if I want to stop or do anything with my game, I have to hunt down my player 1 paddle here and then kind of go around and do that. So kind of a weird setup. Let's, again, if you suffer from seizures from flashing lights, might want to look away here for a moment. Oh, fantastic game. What? And I hit the rewind by accident. That is not a very good placement for that button. Again, it's located right there on the paddle, and a lot of people will hold them like that. So, I mean, come on. So yeah, basically this, I'll share my final thoughts. I'm not a big fan of the Blast series. I don't think I'll pick up the other ones as well, just because on some of the TVs it's a little bit of a hassle to hook those up. They're neat in concept though, and I think a $20 price point will make some good stocking stuffers. I like some of the other games have use a Sega Genesis controller to play those. but if they're traditional arcade or Atari games, I think they might be best with maybe like a joystick and button. I don't think a Genesis looking thing was really needed for that. And the selection of games I kind of wish were a little bit more. I think at Games is best sticking with their Atari Flashbacks, trying to make those a little bit better. I know they've gotten a bit better in recent years, especially with the controllers being much better now, wireless. The Ataris themselves are have an HDMI out port, so let's keep on improving those. And I think you tried something different with Blast. It's okay. I like the build of these paddle controllers, but I don't think this is something that a lot of gamers will necessarily need. Not necessarily saying it's bad, just I'm not quite sure of the need for some of these, especially when you can get the Flashback 8 or Flashback 9, which has just been released at the time of this video, with 100 plus Atari games, or you can break it up and get 20 in each of these Flashback Blast games. So I don't know. Anywho, I have been Kyle. Thank you for watching this video and subscribing, and we'll see you in the next one, everybody.